Alright, what's up YouTube? I've seen just a ton of videos going up about prison and jail, which one is better. And to be honest, like, neither are good. They both suck in their own ways. And idea of how they are, man. You'll never really able to understand how they both are unless you experience it. You know, like definitely jail. We're gonna get into it, but jail, man, it gives me post-traumatic stress, and by smell actually has a very bleachy bleachy metal smell, man, that I'll always remember. I can like remember that type of smell. It's pretty crazy, man. So let's get into it, man. This is a banger. Y'all are gonna enjoy it. But jail or prison, I've been to both, I've experienced both, and I'm gonna give you the ups and downs. So jail, when you get booked in, the worst part from jail to prison is you have nothing to do. Now, what I mean, like nothing to do in prison that I've been to, they have because people are spending their life there. You have a lot more freedom to do stuff, and you have a lot more time to do things. And putting them side to side, they both just suck, man. Like, the most violent stuff I've seen is prison by far. But I'll get into explaining jail. So when you get locked up, when you go to jail, man, you get into booking, and you literally will sit in the cell for about 3 days, maybe get to use a phone. You pretty much, a cell, you pretty much like go in your closet, maybe hook up a toilet and a nasty sink that's never been cleaned for 30 years, and that's where you're going to stay for 3 days. You're going to go through a little process. You're going to get checked for like mental health. You're going to get checked for your, if you have any diseases, get a TB shot. You actually get this little shot in your arm, and it like pops out, and to check if you have TB. And then you go to get your fingerprints and everything. And then the craziest part, if you've done felonies, you get swabbed. So just let anyone else know that right now, man. If you get locked up on felony stuff and you got some stuff behind, they're taking your DNA and you don't have a choice. They'll hold you down to get your DNA. It's freaking crazy. So after you go through booking, right, you're going to be assigned a class, minimum, medium, max, right? Max is prison. Pretty much, if you have prison behind you or looking at serious charges, you're going to go to max. Medium is what it sounds like, medium both. You have new, older prisoners, people that don't, there's still stuff that happens, but not real hard gang politics, real true violence and everything. So let me tell you how crazy jail is. It is so boring, right? This place that I did a whole year at, 12 months, one calendar. I did a year in this county jail. It's all metal. You have your metal cells. You would have these bunks. In Arapahoe County, right, we would have 3 bunks. And you would literally have 3 people. I'm not even kidding. You would have a bottom, a middle bunk, and a top bunk. You could have 3 people in your little cell, You had like one little desk and 3 bunks. So what jail looks like, man, I swear, this is the one I was at, right, for a whole freaking year. There was this big metal door that you would come in, and it was just metal. The floor was just like a concrete floor. You had metal stairs. You had a top tier, a bottom tier of cells that you would go to your home. You know what I mean? And then you would have these old TVs, right? And they would be all the way up here. And the jail I was at, they didn't have a radio that you could hear music. So I went a whole year without hearing any music, right? Sometimes you would get lucky, and like if there would be like a down channel, this is no joke, to hear any music, right, you would have to get the whole pod to agree to be on this channel that has had a broadcast down and that sends like music that you could hear. And it was just crazy, man. I wish I would have had music. Music was a big thing. So now we're going to talk about the difference between jail and... Alright, back to the video. Got a phone call. Alright, so jail, you have one metal door, and you're just in there, right? It's like everything's made out of metal. You have a TV, sometimes maybe two on each side. Old TV. This was a jail I was at, Arapahoe County. Old box TV hanging up, and they bumped the sound, right? And you would have these little metal tables, man. It was crazy. And you would have metal seats, and then you would sit around these metal seats and eat. And with food served you from jail and prison, kind of the same. But in prison, you actually got more, kind of better food. It all sucked, but you still got better food, right? And with jail, commissary was like ridiculously high. You would pay about $1.07 for a ramen noodle packet. So a little piece of ramen noodle, you would pay for $1, right? And so when you go from jail to prison, what you start playing with the big boys. You start playing with people that they're living there their whole life, and all they live on is like their character. That's how they don't get messed with. People are like, man, I got respect. Respect is a huge thing in there, which is that you can carry yourself, and both of them kind of have the same rules. You got to jump off a word, like certain words, you have to fight. If you're barking or talking, you're a punk. You showed up straight up. Like, you need to swing at the moment you need to, because the issue is if you get basically a stamp on you that you're a sheep and that you will take BS, that you're just going to have a horrible time. People are going to come and demand things from you, enforce things from you, and you won't stand up for yourself. You have a choice, and it will never stop. Extortion was huge when I was in there, and that's what's going to change about prison that I'm going to explain to people. So when you're in jail, like I said, the only thing with jail, they have some programs and stuff like that, but you're just bored. You're just sitting there. There's nothing to do. At the one I was at, you couldn't even get a job, and you just would sit there. You would watch TV, you would try to work out, and that was it. Now, there would be fights, there would be violence, but not a lot of people would want to get in a lot of trouble because they wouldn't want to get charges. I did see some gang stuff, some gang and that's what I'm going to get into. So, going into prison, right? You would have to Colorado. You have to ride with your color. So I'm white. I have to ride with the white boys. Like, I have to at least ride. I have to be like, hey, if something happens, I'm with y'all, right? I don't have to join the gang per se, but because I'm white, I still need to follow the rules. So the rules when you go to prison, at least Colorado, like, you don't eat with any people unless they're white. You don't borrow anything unless they're white. Like, you don't work out unless people are white. There's everything. You just stick to your race. Now, I'm gonna get into explaining when the question about when the big boys come in when you go to prison. So when you get into prison, there's a lot more of a connection built with different groups and gangs. They have a lot of the most crazy people, crazy charges. Like, they're there, you know what I mean? And the gangs, that's how they survive. They basically like, hey, we're gonna worry about our people. You worry about your people. It's racist, like you can say, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? And we're not racist people. You don't follow these rules, you're getting smashed out 100%. So we police our own people. People police their own people. That's what happens. So when you get to prison, there's a lot of extra stuff, but it comes at a price. When you're in prison, your word does mean something, and I've seen some huge violent things, man. Because when you're in prison and you're in a gang, right, and someone tests a gang member, by rule, your people have to jump in. I've seen this dude be smashed into a coma from white boys, 3 white boys that got in, that they have to jump if one of their dude, even if they do not like dude and they do not agree with him, they still need to put their, asses on the line and look at more charges because they're in that same gang. It's insane, man. It's crazy. Like, if someone tries you, like, you really have to think about, like, dudes in the Serenios. I've had this happen. Dudes in the Serenios. I got an issue. Like, dang, how am I going to handle this? If dude just didn't have a gang, then it wouldn't be a big deal. Like, I'm going to take off. But I can't with gang stuff. And that's what the transition. So when you go to prison, You have a lot better food. You can actually get a TV in your cell, right? But if you're a punk, you'll just get your TV stolen. You can get music. You have a lot more access to stuff. You have a lot more access to food, programming. Depends what prison you're on, what type of movement. Because when you're in jail, you're just stuck in one cell. Maybe you'll be let out to a yard that has like a metal cage with nothing, But in prison, you could get to a prison where there's actual weights. When I was at Cell House, when I was in, I'll just call it Canyon City, there was just literally a huge wall, and every person with their gang would just walk in a circle, and it literally could pop off any time. It was crazy. But the biggest thing is when you go to prison, the difference, like I said, so you have a lot of extra stuff. Stuff is cheaper. You can do a lot more programming, but you're messing with people that are on a whole new level. You're on a whole brand new level than jail people. Jail is for the kids, honestly. Yes, things happen in jail, yes, and that's because people transfer back and forth from prison. People that had serious charges go, but most of the time, like, people are fighting their cases and they don't want any more smoke than what they got, right? But when you go to prison and dude has life, ain't no dude don't care nothing about your life. Dude don't care about like who you are. Dude don't care about your mom. Dude don't care about your sister. Like, so for real, if you do something, be ready and be ready for your consequences. Cause I'm gonna tell you 100%. When you get into prison, and you're just say you're young. I was young, 19. You know what I mean? Coming in, think I'm all this, and I'm wearing this stuff as a badge. And I started playing with the big boys. Man, it was horrible, man. I had to take on a fight, right? And I lost, man. I'll say that 100%. Like, I called dude out. Dude tried to test me. I called dude out. Like, we go to the cell. We handle it like men. But dude's been in there locked up 3 times. Dude's been in fighting a lot of times. You're fighting some real people that can fight. You know what I mean? So, shit happens like that. I'm good because I stood up for myself. And that's the biggest thing. When you go to prison, there's very direct rules you need to follow by. I did the right thing. Even though I lost my fight, I got way more respect that I said, nah, like, I'm not going to bitch up. Let's go. I don't care about your size. I don't care about who you are. I don't care about your skill set in fighting. Like, let's go. I'm ready. Yeah. And I was, because of this one choice, it's crazy. Prison is very big about your choices. So when you go to jail, people are leaving and going so many times that a check-in, or someone that's just a pussy that wants to check in and doesn't want nothing with anybody and will steal and lie to get some food because he broke and he screwed everyone out there, so he's gonna screw everyone in here. He can just bounce around the jail like a chicken passed around. You know what I mean? In prison, that really can't happen, man. They ain't down with that. And prisoners are there for a long, long time, and people remember things. People are there for 10, 20, 30 years. So if you do something directly to them, it's going to follow you. And that's what was crazy about prison. You had to make choices, very direct and very, very quick choices about your actions. And that's going to follow you for your whole prison bed. So when I sold up to dude, I haven't lost in the fight. Dude gave me a hug and said, man, I got this dude. We got in a fist fight, right? I took an L that day, right? Dude gave me a hug and said, man, I got mad respect, bro. Like, for real, me and dude just got in a big ass fist fight. My whole left side is crushing, right? I don't give a shit. Like, literally, like, the swelling's gonna go down after a week. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather take that fight than dealing with all the people behind him if I was gonna be a pussy and bitch up. You know what I mean? So, I got a hug, bro, and straight up, and dude was like, dude, I got mad respect. I got your back. If anyone tries to test you, we got your back. A lot of people call this a test of heart, right? And this is big about prison, because with jail, people going back and forth and everything like that. In prison, you have to make the right choices, man. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to fight. Plain as simple as that. And people are very, very manipulative. Like, in jail, people are manipulative, but in prison, you're with the worst of the worst, man. And the difference with prison and jail, when you get to prison, the knife play comes in. We've seen some of the 60 days in and all that stuff, people getting shanks, and that ain't going down, bro, like that. Let me tell you something. Like, the knife play in jail ain't going down like that, and I'm gonna explain to you why. So, you think people that are fighting their charges and going to jail, like as in they're in jail and they're gonna be sentenced to prison, they want an attempted murder case on them or a weapons charge because you're getting smoked if you get caught with that shit. For real. If you get caught with a knife or stabbing someone, it's attempted murder. Now, when you get to prison, and it's crazy to say this, but prison has become more accepting to it. Like, dude just got stabbed. It is what it is. And that blows your mind. You come in and you're just used to people getting stabbed. Straight up, someone tests you or you see someone. The rule is don't look. So you just know, like, there's four dudes jumping a guy right over here, right? And you just staring straight at the TV. Because you know if you look over there, you could be seen as a snitch and it's next you're going to come. Like, and I'm telling you this, man, this is all real shit. I'm not doing this to speak on something that I haven't been through, man. I've seen people beat straight to a coma, and all because from an argument, change to call someone the B word. B word is the biggest thing. Punk is the biggest thing. And if you call someone out, you have to act. And then when someone acts, the gang has to react. We have to ride by mine, right? Because if we don't react with dude, we don't show as a strong unit. It's like the army. When you send an army in, you're not sending in one soldier. Or if one soldier gets hit, they never leave a man behind. It's the same idea. It's very militia. How are you explaining? Very military in there. So you have to ride by your kind and you have to do what you're saying. But when you come into prison, like I said, like someone getting stabbed is just normal. Like, yeah, dude got stabbed up. Yep, I got a weapon, carrying on it. Whatever. Like, homeboys know I got a weapon. I'll use it. Oh, you get caught with a weapon. Oh, you get, which you can get your custody level changed, but you actually weren't getting extra charges. So you really want to be in the situation where you need a weapon, you have a weapon and don't need to use it, instead of being in a situation where you don't have a weapon and you need it. So it was crazy. It was a crazy environment, a big change from jail to prison. It was like puberty, man. It was like going from a boy to a man, going to prison, man. You had to carry yourself a way better way in such a manly, strong way, man. And it was like gladiator school when you start going there, man, because you need to stand up for yourself and you have to fight. I don't care what you say. If anyone can tell me that you did your bid and didn't get in a fight, like you were straight in PC. You were not doing any time or you were just giving up all your shit. And I would have loved to be in there and take all your shit because that would have been great. You paying for me to eat every week and all I got to do is threaten you with a knife? Like, game. You ain't telling on me? That's it. I know it sounds messed up, man, but you're with a bunch of wolves, man. You're a bunch of with the people, and if you pretty much act how they act, you're gonna survive, and that's the goal, right? You want to get home, you want to get out, you don't want to be stabbed up with 20 things, or worst case scenario like rapes. I've been through a situation where I got in a fight standing up for my life when dude tried to do nasty shit to me, right? And it was the most scariest shit ever, bro. I slept with my eye open. Like, luckily, I did not go through it and get raped. Luckily, I did not. But come to find out, I had a connection with the white boys. This dude came in during the night. Me and dude got to fighting. Shit popped off. My homeboys heard from the other end. Dude said this punk came through one time, got an issue, and they're like, "We're taking care of this fool." Like, and they're like, you have to listen to your older people. Prison and gang stuff, you have to listen to the higher up, and I'm gonna say I'm thankful for the white boys in there, straight up. When I was young, I was green, didn't know nothing, man. These dudes have my back 100%. Again, sorry, getting a little off topic, but that's the difference too. Like, in prison, like, people will have your back, and you're doing a lot more time, so you'll get a lot closer with people. So pretty much jail is just boring and sucks. And you have a 2,000 calorie diet of things that have worms and freaking bugs in the food and rocks to chip your teeth. And then when you go to prison, you get a little bit kind of better food. You get more privilege to do things, and you get more freedom around. But the violence is on a whole new level. And the gangs are turned all the way more up. than jail. A lot more things in prison let slide, like holding weapons, holding knives. So there's just a quick little recap of prison and jail. They both suck. Don't go. But if you're, I make these, if you're out there and, you're about to get locked up, like for real, be prepared of what's going to come your way. You know what I mean? Like just, man, stay out of it. And if you have to deal with it, like deal with it. Man up, deal with it. Even if you never swung a punch ever in your life, try. Because if I'm in there, right, and I see a dude of my color and he's like, he'll stand up for himself. Even though if he doesn't know, he'll take an ass whipping, but he stands up for himself. I'm gonna back homeboy up. I'm gonna be like, dude's standing up for yourself. Shit, we can teach dude how to fight. But you know what I mean? If the another fool's just gonna let him, take your stuff, do whatever, and dude, I don't want to be seen. A big thing in prison and in jail, you are who you hang around with. So the biggest thing, if you ever get locked up, like you have to be ready to go. You have to be ready to do what you got to do, and you can't be afraid because you're with a bunch of wolves and alpha males that can smell fear on you, and if they smell fear, you're done. You're done the whole time. But this is just Prison 101, real life stories. Seen a lot of stuff. Let's get it.